Yep.
Okay.
This is a dry run practice on this thing.
All right.
So-
I have all the video evidence.
Welcome to the swim step. This right here is our easy dock. Effective word easy. Makes launching and loading super simple. Should we do it the right way? So there's always going to be a little bit of a gap between the swim step and the easy dock, especially in seas. So just be cautious of that one step. And then hey, there's a flat part between all the bays. And this flat part is what we want you to walk down to your kayak on. When it is time to get into the kayak, I strongly encourage you not to step on the seat. The seats are very fragile and very sharp when they do break or crack, and that is quite literally a pain in your butt. So you can, if you would like to, step into the kayak, but just on the deck of the kayak. And there'll always be somebody here with a hand for you, so that you don't have to really launch back in a long way. You can get your legs in. I personally don't like the boot method. I will much prefer you this next way. And that way it's kind of reverse of what I do. There's on the bungees, a nice little X marks the spot for your butt. And you can take one of our hands if you'd like, and you can sit down there. The hull kind of sags. It's not on you and what you've eaten for Greek day. It just does that. And then you can scooch up. You will just have to clear your butt of the back of the seat. And boom, you're in. Now, when you're in, whether you're using the rudder or not, there are foot pedals. For the front, it is simply a way to brace your feet and to further wear that boat. If you're in the back, you adjust the pedals to your feet all the same, except from there, those pedals actually move and you have control of the rudder. Now, when you sit down, I want you to find a comfortable seated position. And so what that means is you're sat down as you would like to be for the next hour and a half. Your back is, supported by the seat back, but your thighs are actually all the way on the outside of the boat. So I'm going to show you kind of the 3D view. Your thighs are out, and then you're a little bit frog-legged, but your toes are also out because that's where the pedals are. So your toes are out, your thighs are out, and it's this interesting kind of rhombus-like shape. But by doing so, you can engage your core, as we were talking about, and you can use your body to manipulate the boat and have a less tiring paddle experience. When your toes are all the way out, we are going to reach in to the boat and move the pedals to your feet. Please not cross our fingers. And don't hammer down on the pedals until we're ready to test the rudder. For those in the back, when you start pushing the pedal, the rudder starts moving. So we just want to get the pedals snug to your feet, and then you can go ahead and test it. Getting out of the boat, you're going to have been sitting down for close to an hour and a half. So there might not be all the blood in your legs that you started with. So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to kind of gain back the feeling in your leg. We prefer, whether or not you're wearing gigantic oversized boots or not, we prefer that you get both your feet on the dock, out of the kayak. And then this is the nice, easy way. If Sam is here with the Viking hand grip, or if you need somebody else with the Viking hand grip, then 3, 2, 1. We get ourselves up. Woo! You feel it. You feel it. And then you walk back along the flat part. Keep your life jacket on until you're back upstairs. Okay. One more time with the rudder testing. This is what it looks like real quick. So I'm going to sit down on the X. I'm going to swing with my legs in. I'm going to scooch over the seat back. I'm going to have my thighs all the way out, my toes all the way out. Sam would reach in and adjust the pedals to my feet so that great visual. So that my toes are now on the pedals Now we're ready to test the rudder. So this is what it looks like. When he unlocks the rudder, he'll instruct me to
Press on the right, and the left, and the right again, and the left again, right, left, right, left, right. There we go. Now go back to center. And rudder is in the water.
Yeah, that's what that looks like. Okay, so there's every boat has a different ease to how well the rudder actually is, how well the rudder gets pushed down. Sometimes it's a little more subtle, sometimes it's a little more aggressive. That's each boat's quirk. You get to explore that throughout the week. But the idea is when you push down on the right, you turn right, when you push down on the left, you turn left. When we get out there, we'll all kind of group together a little bit. We'll wait for everybody to get out there, and then we'll go through a beautiful paddle. Does that all sound good?
Yes.
Any questions? Yeah. Well, I got this little single boat here. I'm gonna go out first. I'm gonna just keep a paddle, and then everybody on the easy dock. Chief Mate Andrew, Expedition Guide Sam, Deckhand Amy, they'll help you out.
You come back and see that form right here.
Alright, you're steering today? Are you steering today? Saying if she doesn't want to paddle much, I recommend you sit in the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the person in the back has a lot more kind of leverage on how to move the boat. So you're controlling the rudder, but you're also doing more of the heavy lifting of the paddle.
Remember to let your left up and down. There. Right again. All the way wire. How's that feel? Gears. Get your balance.
I'm handing them to you. And the way I'm handing them, keep them that way so that we don't take any of his teeth out. So while we launch you, you'll have them like your jousting.
Feels good. Yes, if you just sit there, just start pedaling down. Rudder.
I'm gonna grab your toe.
You know, strangling with them.
Thank you.
Alright.
She's good.
Alright, go all the way to the right.
What?
We're just getting a shot of you.
Oh boy, that's on?
Good.
Can't see it?
I'm not looking. Hello.
I'll grab you some paddles and keep you on your way. Okay. So, one of you can read right here. You're holding the paddle the right way. For now, just keep these parallel to the boat while we push you out so you're not going to hit anything. Alright. Keep it parallel to the boat. Well, we call this the jousting position. So you want to hold it like this as we're pushing you out and pulling you in so you're not going to take somebody out by the knees. Alright, you all ready? Ready. Okay, as soon as one of these boys is ready to help launch you, keep going.
Let's get a little more drier for you.
Yeah.
We don't start with that.
It'd be pretty good one anyway, right?
It's true, but you don't want to sit in a puddle the whole way to start.
That additional sit.
Then that
We're
puddle
gonna
will-
finish with the puddle.
Yeah, exactly. You want to build the puddle while you're out there, so it's a warm.
I want it to be my puddle.
There you go, I like, yeah, no, that's quite the image.
Not that kind of puddle.
No.
I don't want
Okay,
that.
so I have a question.
Yes.
Who has to do more paddling, the front or the back?
It's both.
Well,
It's
the thing
both.
I know, we both.
The thing with running with your spouse is you can make them do all the work.
Well, that's the idea, so should I put them in the back?
Back is gonna be a little bit more work heavy.
Okay,
Uh,
there you are.
but, the front does a lot of the power.
No, I intend to paddle, I just want to have the easier paddle.
Fair enough. Okay, so whoever's gonna be in the back.
Whichever of you sit in the front, and you can sit here.
Or standing in it, stand on the seat and practice it.
Yeah.
Come on down.
And rest it.
Once you're in, we'll
Put her hand in her hand.
Once she's in, I'm gonna have you come down to the back with me.
Okay.
Go around
All right,
if you
let's
like. Alright. Ready, legs in the
Okay, however you want to get in there, Jen.
I'm gonna get back on the X.
There it is.
There's the rain.
Yep, here it comes.
toes
All
out.
right.
All right, now once you're inside, just scoot back for me as far as you can. Excellent. We're getting pretty close to the end on these things. There's one, and there's two. There's
How does it feel? You comfortable? Okay.
It doesn't really, but I
Do they feel even?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let's test it out really quick. And since, how tall are you, Jeff?
6.
6
Even.
foot even? Okay, so you're pretty close to the end of the runners where the pedals move.
Yeah.
So if you crank down on those, they're gonna get stuck and jam. So
Okay.
just like ease on them like a gas pedal. So
Okay.
as your feet are, it's a give and take, right? So just ease on them.
All right.
Like the same amount of pressure you press the gas pedal. So give me a good right hand turn.
Right here,
Press on
you
that
hold
right.
it, right?
Press on that left. Press on the right again.
Yeah.
Is that all the way down on that right?
Well, I'm trying not to push too hard, like you said.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. Just give it a little bit more gas on that right.
Yeah, that's.
That's about it.
It's got nowhere to go.
Yep.
Yep.
I think we might be at our precipice. Press on the right side. Yeah. And then let this foot come up as well. So remember the give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Does that feel even?
Yep. Now do it one more time.
The left one feels like it's a little farther out.
Stand that side behind you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I don't think your
Try the horse.
your
Little bit.
GoPro's gonna do good in this rain.
it seems like the pedals are a little too close to me.
They are, and that's pretty much as far as they can go. as
Okay.
well.
All
Do we
right.
want to switch?
So
Nah.
push with
We
your
will have
left,
more room up there, or we could just stow your rudder and go rudderless
back with your left.
and just use the
I've
pedals
never
for
had a rudder
stability.
before, so.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel
I
like
mean, if
can
we
try
don't
that
use
way.
it, if
And
it works
then-
and helps, great. If I don't use it, I don't use
Yeah,
it.
and then in the future as well, we can try you in one of these red ones. The red ones have a little bit more space, but they're
Okay.
all out right now.
Okay.
So we can give that a shot next time.
Okay.
So I'll just stow your rudder for now. That's feeling good?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's down, does it?
No, not really. We can leave it.
Leave it.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
use it when I can.
Yeah. All right, that's for you then. We'll see you out there.
Ahoy!
Paddle on the left.
Don't rock the boat. We don't have rudders, do we?
We've got left rudder, not right.
You're rocking the boat pretty good.
Well, I wish the rudder was working.
on the right pedal, that turn will come in a
The
little
right
bit.
My right ain't working. Maybe just a tiny bit.
It's a subtle one. You could also get a harder turn.
We're gonna run into this canoe, honey.
It's okay if you do it.
No, it's not. And it's a kayak.
So folks, if we are going to bump into one another, which we often do, a lot of times I'm the one involved, whether I'm being hit or I'm hitting you, just preface it with a little bump so we can all prepare. These boats are pretty stable, and it takes a lot to tip them over, to cause a commotion. Welcome to being on the water. What we'll do first is we'll practice our turns. And so even if we were to not use the rudder, we can still turn the boat by using our paddle strokes. So going forward on one end and backward on the other does the same thing. It turns our boat and kind of spins us in place when we can alternate it as so. Now those effective paddle strokes are either from your toes to your butt or from your butt to your toes. But if you're going forward on one side, that's from your toes to your butt. If you're going backward on a side, that's going from your butt to your toes. So in good synchronicity with your paddle partner, what we'll do is we'll practice turning left. So meaning forward on your right, from your right toes to your right butt cheek, and then backward on your left, from your left butt cheek to your left toes. Right, now left. Back in, third. And then once you've made enough of a turn to be looking back at the ship, you can stop. So once you're pointed at the ship, give her a rest. You want to face the ship.
Hi, baby.
Hi, honey. I should have left my boots on.
Yeah? Why's that?
Yeah, that's the
Because my feet
best
are already
this
wet.
101 has ever started.
Ever. Anybody ever thought?
So now hopefully it clicks together when we turn right. So when we turn right, we're going forward on the left. So from the left toes to the left butt, backward on the right. Left butt to our right toes. And going to the give it a break once we're facing the ship once again after a full 360 degrees.
Front left.
You're not centered on your thing. Take your paddle to your right in your hands. Move your hands to the left.
Okay, like this?
Do you see the seam in the middle?
Yes.
Put that in the middle of the boat. And then center your hands.
Well, I don't. Okay, stop. This thing isn't.
Okay, well, pull them in.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's better.
Notice how I refrain from sarcasm?
Yeah,
Do I get a point?
yes,
Okay.
maybe even 2.
Oh.
I was just trying to help you because you were lopsided.
I wasn't. I'm more nervous about falling out of the boat.
We're going to be fine.
Maybe I'll get extra crab if I go for a swim.
Okay, stop paddling. I don't know where we're going to end up going.
Alright. And then, now that we've got our turning figured out, what we'll do is we'll work on our brakes. My gosh, there is no way to, you know, stop a kayak but for resisting the water in the direction you're going. So what I'll have you do, I'll have you watch me first. I'm going to gain some speed by paddling forward on both sides, and then to stop, I'm going to dip my paddle blade in the water and just let the resistance kind of work the brakes there. And so when you dip the paddle blade in the water and start to stop, it'll start to turn your boat a little bit. So you'll actually alternate which side of the boat you're dipping your paddle in, but you're not going to do any toes to butt or butt to toes motion. You're simply just going to let it stop. So for a demonstration, you're going to go forward and forward and forward and forward, and then when I need to stop, I'm going to dip my paddle blade, alternate, dip my paddle blade, alternate, and just like that, I've worked all my speed. So, here's the time. Give yourself like 3 good forward paddle strokes on either side, and then go ahead and stop your momentum totally. So forward, 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 forward.
We got to turn, honey, first.
Forward.
Why?
Because we don't want to run into people behind us.
You can stop.
Oh, you stop just like that. Now, the same applies for when you need to stop your momentum going backward. So we're going to do 3 paddle strokes on either side from our butt to our toes. So we start going backward. And then the same thing, you're just going to dip your paddle blade in the water, alternate which side it's dipped into, and you'll stop. So you can go backward, 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 backward.
Okay,
Backward,
stop.
backward, and then dip. Dip. And you'll spin a little bit, but that's okay. So, I'll have you come a little closer here. So folks, seldom in the guided kayak world are we looking to spin on a dime. Usually the adjustments are by a few degrees or a few clicks at a time. And so realistically, you are more than capable already, more than ready already to follow even the most slaloming coastline, because you'll always be, you know, making just minute adjustments. And a lot of the times when you have a destination in mind, that intuition really kicks in and you think less about the mechanics and you just do it. Now the rudder, whether it's feeling stiff or feeling absent or feeling really good, is just there to assist you in what you could already do on your own with these very paddle strokes. So if you needed a little more of a turn on the right side, or if you needed to turn to the right just a little sharper, which you really don't ever need to do, you know, you paddle forward on the left, paddle backward on the right, you can also push down that right rudder, and then it really just sharpens the turn all the more. And conversely, if you needed to go really sharply to the left, you could go forward on the right blade, backward on the left, and you could push down that rudder really hard to the left. Like in my boat, I'm not feeling great about this rudder. My boat's just a little too small for me, and so I don't have the full ability of using my feet. But it's okay, because you can do it all with the paddle strokes. Now, I want to show you, if you could all turn to face me, I want to show you some paddle signals that we can use while we're
Where are we going?
We're turning to the right.
Everybody can get their bow, their nose of the boat facing me.
No, forward on the left, backward on the right. Is he moving?
Yes. Clearly.
Well, he was there when he said get facing him.
seals move, the sea lions move, the whales move. This is good practice for that. Also, you're always encouraged to bring water on your guided kayaks. Bring binoculars in your guided kayaks. You know, find your little creature comforts. Bring your coffee on that morning.
Okay, let's stop.
It might spill a little bit, but okay. So paddle signals. The idea, right, is ideal. That we are never too far away to where we can't all talk to one another. That you know, we're always within a loud talking distance away. But as we start covering some real distance in our paddle route, sometimes we get separated.
Watch.
And sometimes, especially if there's distractions or if there's current, and that separation is exacerbated. So, should you ever find yourself in a situation where you're too far away to talk, I'll enlighten you to the paddle signals of, hey, how are you doing? And so my question is 2 knocks on the head. How are you doing? If you're doing good, 2 knocks back says I am A-okay. If you're not A-okay, anything other than 2 knocks on the head is telling me you're not doing A-okay. Maybe you're B-okay, maybe you're effing not okay. Should there be something that you need help with? If you need me over to your kayak, if your foot has fallen asleep and slipped off the rudder, if there's a salmon in your boat, I don't know. Crab. If there's a crab in your boat, you can lift your paddle blade directly in the air like this, and this signifies to me that, hey, you would like me to come over. If I see this and I need to come over to you, I'm gonna have everybody else stay together, maybe even like raft up and hold on to each other's boats. But if you need me over at your boat, then just give your paddle signal up.
We're not going to tip over.
If it is emergent, if it is dire, very consequential, waving your paddle blade like this is your signal of distress. Similarly to that on land, where, you know, if you see somebody on the beach doing this, that's not a casual hello. So waving your paddle blade like that is like, hey, I really need help, and I will get over to you as soon as possible. No matter what we're doing as far as our kayaking activity, we're always going to be within comms reach. So I have my radio on my person at all times. And then if we're going real far, I'll bring a GPS, and then we'll facilitate getting a skiff over. If anybody goes in the water, which never happens, please don't let it happen. If somebody goes in the water, we'll get a skiff over. Even if I can come and, you know, get you out of the water and onto your kayak, we still want to get you back to the ship as quick as possible. So don't fear any bit of that. If we see wildlife, the best paddle signal is that which does not scare the wildlife. Say there's a hypothetical seal over there. If I said, hey guys, there's a seal! That seal's gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm out of here. And it's gonna dip down and we're gonna not see it. So, rather than that, a little jazz hand signifies there's something to look at, and then with the other hand, you can point. So, if you see a bear on the shore, rather than shouting that there's a bear, and then, exactly, A+. So we'll all be keen to each other's jazz hands and directions so that we know, yeah, there's something worth looking at without having to potentially spook it away. All throughout the tours, your guides will definitely be taking pictures of you, for better and for worse. But it's all to go back into a slideshow that we give you at the end of the week, supplements to your own memories. And yeah, if you want to stop and take a picture, feel free to do so, as long as it doesn't put you away from the group in an unsafe way. But just know that your guides will also be taking pictures of you throughout the week in your boats, and that goes back to you. Does anybody have any questions about the kayaking operations or about kayaking mechanics? I say we turn this into a guided paddle.
Oh boy.
So, we're gonna all stick together and we're gonna start a right turn so that we'll kind of weave between this island and the land that is just nearest to us. So again, if you're gonna bump into somebody, you just preface it with a bump. And that's
You're
okay.
fighting against me, honey.
A right turn is
Forward on the
Right
left
turn is a
Forward on the right.
left
and backward on the right. You're
I
do-
was doing that.
no, you were doing the
Put
opposite.
down on the right pedal.
Forward on the left. Backward on. There you go. Now let's just go forward.
So folks, what's really interesting is despite all the haze, no matter what mountain you see, what hill you see, it is all, unless it's a tiny little islet, it's all part of one island, Chichagof Island. And Chichagof Island is, I believe, the 7th largest island in the United States of America. And it's only got about 1,500 people that live on it. The biggest community is that of Huna, which we saw on the way in, and we'll see on the way out. Huna is a predominantly Tlingit village. It is a city by bureaucratic standards, a population of about 700, but it's the largest predominantly Tlingit indigenous southeastern Alaskan community that there is in this area. There's more Tlingit who live in either Juneau or Ketchikan or Sitka, but not in such a large concentration. So it's a place that has a lot of ties to the land and a place where, you know, there's bear hunting in this vicinity. There's crabbing and shrimping and fishing galore. And yeah, it's you know, got its contemporary amenities, but it's a really interesting place because the practice of subsistence is still at the forefront of the culture. And I had the opportunity to spend some time in Huna just this past October, and I was kind of moseying about. I got the call to join one of the ships in our fleet for the southbound. They picked me up out of Huna when they were done with Nika Bay Ops. We headed down for Seattle, so I spent the day in Huna waiting for them to finish up their paddling, and I was just killing time around the village, and I helped an old elder set some firewood, because he was heating his house still with wood stoves. And I got my very first authentic Unal Chish. I'll teach you the word in the Tlingit language. Unal Chish, or Chish for short, is thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, that's Unal Chish. It's a place where there's still Devil's Club socks pinned on people's front doors as a way to ward off evil spirits. It's a place where totem poles still stand, not just outside of the clan houses, but sometimes around their individual houses. It's also a place that owns and boasts the world's, at one point, the world's tallest zip line. And these things do not seem to go hand in hand.
Didn't they build that for the tourists? I heard.
They sure did. So,
All the big cruise ships that come in.
yeah, because of Huna's proximity to Glacier Bay, they have built a cruise ship port in Huna. This is the last 15 years. And it's the only, in the region, the only privately owned cruise ship port where it's not the city of Huna, but actually the native corporation who owns the cruise ship. And as a way to kind of subsidize a community which is largely, still practicing subsistence, well, now there's 750,000 tourists who boat to the Icy Strait Point cruise ship terminal in any given year. That being said, Icy Strait Point is 2 miles from the downtown of Huna Village, and on any given year, only like 30,000 people actually make it to Huna. And so most of them are just kind of grouped up 2 miles away from town in a very touristy district in which an old tannery was kind of revamped to a bit of a fishing museum. And but still, it's a port of call where the Tlingit indigenous culture is kind of showcased. And the townsfolk from Huna will come to the cruise ship port, and they'll do, in their traditional regalia, some traditional drum songs and dances, and they'll showcase people, how to fillet a salmon, and yeah, it's a much different port than that of Juneau, or Ketchikan, or Skagway. Still somewhat rooted in the indigenous culture there. Now, Huna itself, in the Tlingit language, means in the lee of the north wind. And we'll talk about why Huna is settled where it's settled later today, but I just want you to be aware that there is a lot of movement between the wind and the current as it wraps around all the land masses, and we're feeling it right now. Even paddling forward, you're kind of getting sucked into the bank by the nature of the current and by the nature of the wind. And so, a lot of times you will have to kind of compensate for the current and not get sucked too far inshore. I'm going to show you a cool little species here of kelp. This is called a bullwhip kelp, and it is bulbous at the top, filled with air so that it floats. And as it floats, it's hollow in the inside, so it's filled with air. As it floats, the fronds can splay out on top, so they can photosynthesize like a plant, even though algae is arguably not a plant. It is edible, and so yeah.
Go right ahead.
Nope. Nobody wants to try.
You go right ahead.
Oh my.
What's it
It is
taste like?
celery, I bet.
I'll try.
I'll try it.
It tastes? Taste? Just like salty, but it's got a great crunch. And this is, whether you're in a village or not, this is a product you'll see on the shelf of stores all around Southeast Alaska. Where
I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. We average a 7.5 out of 10. And that's pretty good. It's a product you'll see all around Southeast. A lot of times it's the fronds are actually baked so that they're dried out and flaky and in kind of like a spice jar type of setting. Or the stalk, which we just ate, is pickled, just like your cucumbers. You put it in something acidic like a vinegar and a whole bunch of other pickling spices, and it just kind of takes the flavor of that to match and pair with the saltiness. How thick is so rare is that? Yeah. So the wall is probably a quarter of an inch thick, and then its diameter, outside diameter at least, thickest at the top toward the bulb, could probably be an inch and a half thick in the biggest specimen, but its length is the most astounding. So from the bulb to the holdfast, where it's actually attached to a rock on the substrate, on the seafloor, which here, I have not forgot, is a rocky intertidal, we call it, could be 90 feet long. Really amazing. A lot of times throughout the Southeast, you know, the topography of the mountaintops would look behind the ship. Heck yeah, do we have some mountains back here, kind of concealed beneath the haze. A lot of times those mountains just go straight down into the ocean, and there's no subtle taper off. They continue once you hit the water line to really just drop fast. And so the kelp is close to shore, and so it seems like it's living shallow, but sometimes it's in 80 feet of water, 90 feet of water. And yeah, just standing at the top like it's an intertidal species, even though it's definitely held down on the deep sea floor. All sorts of different algae you can eat. But if you're not into harvesting algae for your own human consumption, perhaps you would harvest it for your garden, especially those which have washed up on your beach and have already begun to decay. A lot of times we'll just go down to the beach, gather a hunk of a load of decaying algae, we'll bring it back to our plant beds, and yeah, use it as a natural fertilizer. Yeah, got all these marine nutrients, which help even terrestrial flora flourish.
So I just realized they're all empty around rocks.
Sometimes, yeah, they need something to hold on to so that they're not blown off in the big currents. Especially where, you have this pinch point, right, between the island, this little unnamed islet, and Kitchigoff Island mainland. This water, as it converges and constricts, it pushes with a ferocity much more intense than that out in open water. And so especially here, it needs to be anchored to, well, sometimes it's rocks, sometimes it's big clamshells, and sometimes, especially where it's feeble and unsustainable, sometimes they try on little mussel shells and they just end up getting blown right off once they reach a certain surface area to take all that motion of the water. But yeah, they'll try to attach to just about anything that's solid. Yeah, hopefully it's big enough to hold them when they reach their full size, but yeah, oftentimes we find them washed up on the beach because it just wasn't enough. So yeah, we're in a rocky intertidal, so all these pebbles that you see on the shore, continue down and they mix with the silt and the sand and the clay of, different levels of pulverized rock. And they kind of come together to form a whole bunch of microhabitats for, depending on the water line, lines of algae, and then barnacles, and then mussels, and then clams, and then other invertebrates. And everybody has their own little niche, depending on where in the tide they sit. There is some really big tide swings here, and we'll experience one we are experiencing one right now, where there was a negative 4-foot tide, or no, perhaps there's a a 4-foot tide above sea level, and then an 18-foot tide. Where the 4-foot above sea level is the low tide, and the high tide is 18 foot above sea level. And so 14 feet of water changes out in 6 hours time. And how 14 vertical feet of water corresponds to an area that's this shallow is, the truth is, like, the water in low tide is only in this middle section halfway between the islands. And yeah, we're not in 18 feet of water now. This will all be beach here in another 6 hours from now. We're close to high tide now and ebbing, so it is starting to revert back out to the open ocean. There we go. It's uphill one way. And yeah, especially where there's, bigger boulders, there's all the more hollows to accommodate all the different creatures who have, specialties in the pools or the crevices. We'll begin to turn right for that little last rock outcrop, and then we'll take her from there. So we'll all turn right, listen together.
No backwards.
This way, right?
Just paddle forward.
In the meantime,
I'll do the steering.
pictures of you all.
Guy in the back does the steering.
Nice big
Well-
zoom
Unless we're
shot.
turning on a dime.
Real far away.
Okay.
Steer not and get to me. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. That looks cool
Okay,
with the
let's
hazy
float.
mountain in the background. 3, oh, too close. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, it's really not so bad. Yeah. Opposite coast, yeah. Yeah, that is fair. It's a little cold in some places more than others. Yeah, some of us have gloves on, some of us don't. That's all personal.
Look at you guys
preference.
moving in beautiful unison.
Say again?
Look at how beautifully they're moving.
Perfect synchronicity. You don't need to, but it helps if you have it.
Want some more kelp?
Yeah, it looks
I'm
like.
full.
Got to save room for crab.
That just,
Oh, is it crab night tonight?
yes.
Alright. But yeah, no better place to eat crab than. I mean, these are pretty productive crabbing grounds here. Most of what's caught in this water here is Dungeness crab. Might be on the menu tonight.
That's
I'm
what
not
we're
sure on
having.
it. Yeah, nice.
We saw the buoys for the pot.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the dungies are fish. I mean, some people have 20 pots, and the regulation on crabbing is well, simply that you have your sport fishing license, at least for personal use. Now you have your sport fishing license, that you register your pots, and then you just tell the state how much you harvest. The same goes for shrimp, where it's not there's no like real limits. You just cannot harvest females, and you cannot harvest, in the case of Dungeness crabs, a crab with a carapace less than 6 1/2 inches across.
Is that the body?
Yes, that's the widest part of
The cap
crab
thingy?
body, excluding the claws.
Mm.
And oh my gosh, there's a leaping salmon during 1 o'clock. Keep your eyes peeled close to shore. That's usually a one-off thing. I just happen to get lucky and catch a glimpse. But yeah, salmon are returning to the waters more inland to eventually head back up to their streams where they were born. And in this case, I just saw a fish fully fly out of the water for a good 1 second before smacking back.
I saw one this morning popping out.
Isn't it so peculiar?
Only these kids though. It's a salmon.
Well, a lot of the salmon which come into the streams first, and not to say it was or wasn't a salmon, because there are other fish who might do that. But the first salmon to come back in the summer are the pink salmon, or the humpy salmon, which are at their biggest only 8 pounds. So the smallest of the 5 species of Pacific salmon could be those present in the water now, getting ready to just like eat the last of their nourishment before heading into the streams where they'll stop eating, spawn, and then die. And yeah, those big guys spawn and die. It's a simple life for a fish. Yeah, Rick Rowland. Yeah. Yeah, he's got some awesome art, and I think he does it in like a very like metal way, right? Yeah, it looks like it's like a Metallica style feature. Spawn and die. But you know, to keep that theme alive, what it means, if you've all listened to some Rob Zombie back in the day.
Thunder Kiss.
Yeah, so the fish, when they reach the fresh water, they stop eating. They're ready to spawn and die. And when they, I'm going to turn around for this one, so I want to say this well. When the fish reach their fresh water, they have to readjust, they have to recalibrate for their saline intake. And so, you know, going from being a seafaring fish to a freshwater fish, they have to kind of morph their anatomy a little bit. And when they change they flip how their gills actually take in or keep out salt, their whole body is affected and they start to decay. They become zombie fish, where their flesh actually starts rotting while they're still alive. And you know, they turn these beautiful red colors, and then that's a terrible idea for a fish who's trying to avoid bears and fishermen. They're in a way like losing their camouflage, they're losing their discreetness. And so they turn these bright reds, and each of the 5 different species has a different coloration. And they get hook-jawed and this nape and this gnarled tooth that can't even like close and chew another fish if they wanted to. And once they lay their eggs, once they fertilize the eggs, legitimately their flesh starts turning to goop. It starts sloughing off in this really pallid, yellow, gross, just like mush of flesh. And you can see it on the outside. And the fish, they start like biting each other, even though they're not trying to eat, and they just like tear off each other's flesh, and they look like they're in a Rob Zombie music video. We call them zombie fish.
And there's an industry to kiss
There's
scabrous things.
there's even if you don't like the bullwhip kelp,
What are you doing?
can trust me that salmon
Evening
are
out
great
the rudder.
eats until they start to do this, and then it is so not worth it. They smell awful, they taste awful, the texture is more of mashed potatoes than it is salmon, and that like beautiful red fillet that we expect when we order a nice salmon dinner or go to the market, it turns to white, like a snotty yellow white. It's awful. There's no reason to eat it.
You're making us all hungry.
The crab is good, don't you worry. But yeah, there's no reason to eat the fish once they start to hit the fresh water. And so maybe what it was when we saw, and we can continue just a little further up, maybe when we saw that fish jump, it was practicing for the waterfalls it would have to leap through to get back to that good nesting, the redding material of their home river.
So Colby, the salmon spawning, did they build a red or did they just
spawn in crevices, or where do they spawn?
Yeah, each salmon has its own kind of stickiness to its eggs. And so different species eggs require different tills of pebbles and different aerations of the water. And so depending on what species and depending on what stream, most of them do have to excavate a little cavity. Sometimes it's just brushing off a few pebbles on top, making the tiniest little indentation. The female drops 3,000 to 6,000 eggs. A male swims by and fertilizes it and just dumps his milt. Sometimes a streaker male will come by and swoop in and milt unintendedly. And then they just kind of like use their tail to kind of slap some more pebbles on top. Most of the eggs end up drifting downstream and they're food for the trout and the char and the birds. But yeah, it just depends on who, as far as the 5 species of salmon, how they need the rocks that they have to actually adhere their eggs to. Alright, I'm gonna spin around. I'm gonna have us all go to this little spire outcrop here, right on this near point. And then I'm gonna check the time and see how we're doing, but I think we're all killing it. Everybody feels good in their boat? Alright. Yeah, when we start to see the yellow bladder rack kelp on the tide line, that's a good indication that the tide is, you know, not as high as it could be. Truthfully, it's the spruce trees are the first really salt intolerant species, so that where the tree line is
Hear the
you know,
echo?
the highest tide, but also the surf, the swell that comes in, they'll take no splashing even.
Boop! This is a very pleasant rain. Have you dipped your hand in the water?
Well, my hand's quite wet and cold, so.
But the water isn't as cold as I thought it'd be.
No, if we're acclimated to being wet and cold, yeah, you're more than encouraged to give a little cooler. When you get to super clear water like this, I always like kayaking up to it and just looking down, especially at lower tides. There might be some invertebrate creatures to gaze at. So we'll just have to, you know, be aware of the suction effect, especially if the tide is, or the wind is bringing us to the rocks. Do your best not to get grounded. Like so. Thank you for the demonstration. Oh, they sure are.
Give it a try.
Yeah,
What's that?
I think we're getting ready to
I
crash.
wouldn't harvest the flotsam. I wouldn't harvest the stuff that is floating. But that which is attached to the rock. And I'm going into real shallows. I advise you not to follow me. I'm just going to fish some and then come back.
What's he picking?
Seaweed.
Oh.
So, this algae that we see on the rocks is a few different things. I was actually surprised it wasn't all what I thought it was, but at least some of it is a bladder wart or a bladder rash. Again, doesn't sound all that appetizing, but really a good eat. Sometimes we call it rockweed or rock kelp. I like putting this stuff over an open flame, and then just getting that crunchier, crispier texture. Makes
Come on,
it really
Peter.
good, because it's already got a good bit of smack to it, but there's this ooze that comes out of it that some people just use as like a moisturizer. I've even heard of people using it as a conditioner. The ooze, truthfully, is the reproductive matter.
Look at
illegal. Oh, bald eagle. With the big white tail feathers.
Did you get that, honey?
Yeah. I have no idea how much water's on the lens.
Just a few more minutes, and then we'll turn back to get back to the boat by happy hour. Let me consult with my shark to see how much of a movie that would be. But that would be okay.
How's your shoulder?
Okay.
I've simply lost the ability to use my phone. I think it meanders. I've done this before, where it seems like it's just around the next corner,
Oh, right.
but then there's 3 more corners to go.
And just the next one.
Yeah.
You're almost to the top of the peak.
We going all the way around back to the boat?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll end up just going 2 more minutes up, 22 around, see if it's not viable. I think this island is one of those which is a test of hubris, and I will just do the old-fashioned 180. But hey, we know how to turn on a dime, and so whichever way is clever, left or
Left.
back along the way.
Forward on the right. Backward on the left.
I appreciate everybody sticking together. Not only are you wonderful 101ers, you're great guided kayak companions.
We don't want to get lost.
Hey, again?
We don't want to get lost.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then this way, too, we'll have some push from the
Okay,
tide.
let's go forward.
Yeah, and all the conditions coming together for us.
So yeah, good job turning
I
around.
can't see.
We'll continue to stay together, but
Just paddle forward. I'll follow
Yeah, I
you and
know.
steer.
I need to adjust my hood.
yapping, and we can pick up some real speed, some real velocity. Easier going. Not as bad out of the water. Subtle difference, but hopefully more than negligible. Oh gosh, I do have to admit, I do have a tow rope, but oh,
Tell him that.
you would have to owe me big time. Oh, here's a dead crab. Well, I guess we'll be seeing plenty of dead crab tonight. Maybe.
So the weeds up here, is that
It's just on the surface.
okay? I didn't know if there's a sandbar or anything.
Nope.
We got to go to the right of that rock up ahead.
You told me to just go ahead and you'd steer.
I got it.
Alright, folks, if you want to look my way, let's grab your picture. Nice. Remember when we were on the fence? When we were on the Aft 300, we were like, oh my gosh, the rain stopped. And then as soon as we got out on the water, it started really raining. We've endured the elements, folks. It's not that bad, eh?
It's not that bad.
Somebody's kayak is squeaking. It keeps throwing me off like there's a seal just falling at us. Oh, it looks like you're neutral right now, so it should be.
Did you get it back? Can't find the rudder.
Well, come out to more open water away from the rocks, and then I'll come give a look at it. And off in the front, you can slow down a little bit. I'll, yeah, 10. Yeah, that's it, okay. We're dead center right now, so it's not like we're cockeyed. We're kind of not using.
We were cruising.
Oh, no. There's the boat.
It's great, yeah.
Okay, just paddle on the left side only for a little bit.
Oh, then you pull the rudder up.
Okay, now both.
Didn't you tell us to hold that?
Well, we stopped. Now we're taking off slowly. We got people passing us now, so we're good.
Oh, yeah. I can't even see it.
Realize a couple things. One, where my box now. Keep the water off. See a big bottle of water.
That's pretty cool, huh? Never thought I'd do this.
Didn't you kayak with me once?
No.
I thought you did once.
No, sir. But kayaking with you in the Little Miami River is different than this.
Well, yeah, this is bigger and better.
And this hood.
Look down, honey.
Yeah,
It's shallow,
I see.
so we want to go right. Real shallow over there.
Alone or
Real shallow.
shows. It's had some cameos.
That's the one we watched, right, Steve? That group and that last before we watched all that.
Yeah, if they don't say they're in tuna, maybe they would address it by the name of the water more largely, which is Port Frederick. Right now, Nico Bay is a bay within Port Frederick. So, yeah, it could go by a few different names to try and be ambiguous about how near the civilization it actually is. But all that being said, I mean, the truth of the matter is, as soon as you step outside the city confines of Puna, you are in the bush. And, yeah, it's a true, you know, rugged way of life, no matter where you are around here. Whether reality TV exaggerates it or not.
Oh, I'm sure it exaggerates a lot.
Well, was anybody on the 400 when we passed by Chimney Rock? You know, speaking of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, on top of it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a rock around here that made it into a cooking show where Gordon Ramsay had to ascend this spire of rock to find on the one tree on top of the rock, to find on top of the one tree on top of the rock that there is one lichen he couldn't find anywhere else in the world. All to make this, you know, super special whatever the heck sauce. And he did it, of course, in the middle of winter as a blizzard raged on, and he almost lost his life 3 times. And yeah, that's just around the next corner. And they never showed Huna, or the fact that there's that same lichen on half of the trees we're looking at right now.
Who's that bird, Jack?
So that is the bald eagle speaking.
Really? I know it is. It's the swimmer that married Gordon Ramsay's daughter. It's the guy that brought Tucker from,
The only swimmers I know are Michael Phelps,
yeah,
Summer Sanders, and all of us when we polar plunge. I gotta say, folks, I'm very proud of you all.
You say that to everybody.
No, I really. Trust me, I had my doubts when I sized you up on the after under.
We were also wondering if we were in good hands, so.
You should still be wondering that. I know you can paddle. You have no idea who I am once I get behind the tiller motor of your next skip tour. Oh yeah, no, it's an exceptional paddle here. Yeah, I'm glad we've got good conditions. There's a little bit of flow to it, despite it looking pretty steady at the surface. You know, so much of our action of the water happens just beneath. Right
I
now,
would have been
it's
better
just
without
on the way,
glasses.
it's sucking us into the bank and kind of pulling us back. So, yeah, we conquered that. We conquered the rain, which is inhibiting to most. I bet you those sissies of last week, my parents included, would have been deterred by the rain after they had some warmer days. But that's
And
what
we
they
ate
did.
seaweed.
Kelp.
Kelp.
Oh my God, we're brave.
That was kelp.
Huh?
What did we eat?
We ate bull whip kelp.
Kelp.
Oh yeah. I think it's fine
You
to
are
call
now
it a
one with
seaweed.
the sea otters.
Yeah, the sea otters love that bullwhip kelp. Mainly because their favorite food is bullwhip kelp. So they eat mostly sea urchins who eat the bullwhip kelp.
Is that what makes the urchin so salty?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, they're spending their whole life in salt water, so I think they'd be salty by nature no matter what, but you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And that kelp is among any flavor profile Gordon Ramsay could, you know, elaborate on salty. Foremost and paramount.
Somebody's reclining over there.
Not right. A humpback whale will eat really small fish.
Krill.
Which is actually a crustacean. And like little herring, maybe salmon fry, maybe little fish, maybe little sandwich. But yeah, it's just, it eats primarily fish and krill.